Okay, sit yourself onto your lift and come into a good cross-legged position. Just feel like you are sitting evenly in a good cross-legged position. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. Draw the shoulders down away from your ears. And spend a few moments listening to your breath. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose if you can. Allow your eyes to settle on the floor ahead of you. Soften the jaw, soften your tongue, soften your throat. Just allowing your eyes to settle, allowing them to become still in the sockets. Release your hands, bring your hands into Namaste. Lengthen from the armpits into the elbows into the heels of the hands into the fingertips. And with an exhalation, allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Aim to fill the lungs evenly, filling them from the bottom to the top with air, and allow the out breath to empty from the top to the bottom. Breathing consciously into both lungs evenly. With an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest, lift your chest up to meet your chin. Spend a moment to acknowledge the positive energy you have around the heart area from the breath. And spend a moment to generate a feeling of thankfulness for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area as you release the backs of your hands down to your knees, bringing the tips of the fingers, tip of the index finger with the tip of the thumb, stretching the other fingers away from the palm of the hand. Just a gesture of wisdom and physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevating the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. So you're just going to do a little bit of Brahmari pranayama to begin with. So it's just the hummed exhalation, and you exhale until the lungs are empty. And we don't overdo it, just gently does it. But just normal inhalations, and then you hum on a low note until the lungs are empty. We'll do 5. So just take some normal inhalations, normal exhalations. You can keep your eyes open or you can close them, but keep your eyes still in the sockets either way. Take a normal inhalation and normal exhalation. A normal inhalation, and then we will begin. And then just follow that with a normal in-breath, a normal exhalation, normal breaths. Just observing the energy around the chest and the shoulders and the neck and the throat. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest and then turn to the right, drawing your abdomen across your ribs and your shoulders, keeping your neck soft. Just looking forwards with your head. Just observing your body's resistance or otherwise. And if you observe significant resistance, observe areas of the body that also present no resistance. So you don't just focus on the resistance, you acknowledge it's there and respect it, but you don't dwell upon it. You draw your attention to areas of the body that present little or no resistance. Just evening out the sensation. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, elevate the heart area upwards. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Just breathe in even deep inhalations and exhalations. and then gently come back to the centre. Just come off your lift, and we're going to go straight up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down this morning, then you can do dandasana instead, or you can do supta, parighasana, whichever of those feels most appropriate for you. So if you're doing dog down, just come onto all fours. Have the hands as wide apart as the mat, spreading the fingers. If you're doing dog down, sit directly on your seat bones, stretching your legs away. And if you're in dog down, push your hands into the floor. Keep the knees bent initially so that you can lift the tailbone up to the ceiling. So in dandasana, try and lengthen the tailbone away from your heels. Lengthen your heels away from your tailbone. Do the same actions as you are doing in either of the poses. Tighten the kneecaps. Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. That's appropriate for all of the poses. Turn the fronts of the legs inwards so that the backs of the legs turn outwards. I've been talking about that corkscrew effect. That when you turn the fronts of the legs inwards, the backs of the legs rotate outwards. So it feels like from the top of the hips, turn the thighs inwards, the backs of the thighs outwards, the fronts of the shins inwards, the backs of the calves outwards. So it's that feeling that there's a corkscrew action. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position. If you've got problems with your back of any type, go into half uttanasana with the blocks underneath your shoulders, stretching forwards, just going halfway. If there's any reason why you don't bring your heart lower than your head, then do half uttanasana. Otherwise, we're going to do full uttanasana. Bring the feet as wide apart as the mat, just really precisely lining up the outside edge of your feet with the edge of the mat. Tighten your kneecaps, lift up into the chest, have your hands on your hips initially, drawing the elbows towards each other so that the shoulder blades gather together. Raise your arms. Lift up to the ceiling, keeping the legs really firm. If you're going into half uttanasana, you can come forwards, hinging at the hips with the arms outstretched, unless you've got a bad back, in which case bring the hands onto the hips and come forwards and down. Otherwise, hook the thumbs into the crease of the elbows. Wrap your fingers around your elbows, lengthen up towards the ceiling, and then as you would do in half uttanasana, come forwards with a straight back, hinging entirely at the hips, and then allow the top of the body to hang down. But keep the legs working determinedly. So whether you're in half uttanasana or full uttanasana, the legs need to be deeply activated. So tighten the kneecaps. Press the fronts of the thighs through to the backs of the thighs. Lift the fronts of the thigh up towards the hip socket. Turn the fronts of the legs so that you feel the backs of the legs broaden. Think about that corkscrew action in the legs. So the more determinedly you work your legs, the easier it becomes to extend into the spine. So in half uttanasana, definitely consciously extend into the spine. In full uttanasana, maybe it feels like we're just hanging towards the floor, but you can still activate your spine.
If your legs are really determinedly working, we can lengthen the spine down towards the floor. Keep the weight with both of the poses in the heels. So hit your shins back, turning the shins inwards. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then release your hands down to the floor. Just come into half uttanasana. If you can't reach the floor, bring your hands onto your shins unless you've got blocks there. Project the chin and the chest forwards. Keep the legs really determinedly working. Observe how your body is working for you today. Feel the body in 3 dimensions. Okay, bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up, and then come up into the standing position. And be in Tadasana, just inner edge of the feet together. Listen to the breath. Just feel your body in 3 dimensions, like there is a 3D printer printing your body from feet up into the legs, into the hips, into the abdomen, into the diaphragm, into the lungs, into the shoulders, into the arms, into the neck, into the head. Bring your arms out nice and wide. Spread your fingers. Spread your fingers so that you feel the palm skin stretch. Bring your arms hands in towards your chest, and then step or jump the feet apart. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out. Just being mindful of your foot placement. Ensuring that the heel of the right foot is in line with the instep of the left foot, and that you're rotating the legs outwards. So it's the opposite direction to Tadasana in terms of the legs. So have a quick look. Make sure that your heel is in the right place. And then come over, find the shin. Look up. Draw the chest up to face the ceiling. Stretch up towards that top hand. Turn the front leg, that right leg, from the big toe side of the thigh to the little toe side of the thigh. Turn in the back of the leg. Remembering that corkscrew action. Work that back leg in exactly the same way. Turn in the big toe side of the thigh to the little toe side of the thigh, at least at the front. And then feeling the corkscrew action down into the feet. If you look up, then you clear the sinuses. But for a moment, just look down. Is your head over your foot? Or is your head kind of in the middle of the room a little? So lift the chest. If your head isn't in line with your foot, squeeze the front leg buttock bone forwards, activating that back leg towards the wall behind you. And then look back up. Come back to the center. Swap the feet around, turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. Again, just feel that your feet are in the correct placement. Heel of that front leg, the front foot's turned out, that heel in line with the instep, or the toes of that back leg. If you've got stiff hips, you can always bring that front foot beyond the toes of that back foot, but never have the heels in line. That reduces the space that you have in your hips. Corkscrew the legs and then reach over and down, come down onto the left side. Corkscrew action in the legs. Turning the inner thigh, activating the thigh, lifting up into the chest, turning the chest up to face the ceiling. And then come back to the centre, bring the feet parallel, and then step or jump your feet back together, come back into Tadasana. Just listen to the breath. And then just come down onto your mat, fold over the left side of your mat, and then come down onto your knees. Parighasana, the gate pose. So the folding over of the mat is there to kind of create a bit more cushioning for your legs so that your shins can connect to the ground more effectively. And so at the moment the shins probably feel like they're connecting quite sufficiently, but then when you come up onto your knees, do your shins lift. So come up and lengthen into the toes from the knees. And if the shins lift off the floor, and be really honest about it, then what you need is a folded blanket, and place the folded blanket over the top of the mat and kneel on that instead. And this should hopefully help you to keep your shins down on the floor. So mine were lifting and I'm on a soft floor. So if you're on a hard floor, it's really difficult, but you might be able to do it, of course, but you know, just use a blanket if need be. So lift up into the chest, just let the shins connect into the ground, and then come up onto your knees. Just come up onto your knees, and again, drive those shins into the floor. Lengthen the toes away from the knees, because that's the foundation, especially of this left leg. Bring the right knee forwards and then out to the side, using the edge of your mat to line the knee up with the foot, and the inner edge of the foot in line with the mat. So I did forget to tell you to do something. Have a block on the side. You might not need it, but it's there just in case. And then stretch the leg out. Bring the foot. You can't see my foot. Let me just move my. Oh no, it's different. That's a different camera, isn't it? So you just have to. My foot is on the block. So turn this leg like we were doing trikonasana. Turn that leg, corkscrew that leg, really activate the shin of that back leg. Have the left hand on the hip and slide down the shin with the right hand. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling, turn that top shoulder to the wall behind you. And then reach up and over, and then lengthen that arm over, so you get this tremendous stretch along the left side of the body. Turn the chest up to face the ceiling. If you can, you can turn the palm to face upwards. Bring the elbow in line along the shin, and then reach over. Look, have a quick look. Make sure that that hand is directly over the foot. Turn the chest to face the ceiling. Okay, and then come back to the center. Just bring that knee back, and then sit yourself back down onto the floor. So you get this tremendous stretch along the left side of the body. So just observe how your body is feeling right now. So swap everything over. Turn the right side of your mat over. Bring the mat or the blanket, if you're using it, on top of that. Stretch out the left side of your mat, the right side even. I've lost my left side, it's the left side. And then put the block where you can reach it with your foot. And then just just kneel onto the blanket or onto the mat. Lift up into the chest, press the shins into the floor really consciously, and then come up onto your knees. So again, have your knees in line with the edge of the mat, because that helps you to gauge your alignment. Bring the left foot forwards this time. Just really work into that shin of that back foot, because that back shin needs to stay really securely down onto the mat. Bring the foot out to the side, and then just get that thigh to rotate outwards. And then stretch over to the side, bring the toes onto the block, and then turn that thigh from the big toe side to the little toe side. Keep your right hand on your hip, turning that right shoulder towards the wall behind you as you slide down. So it's similar to trikonasana, isn't it? Keep that shin of that back foot firmly onto the floor. And then reach up and over. Stretching out that right side of the body. Turn the palm up to face upwards if you can. Bring the forearm along the shin. Just have a quick look, make sure that that hand and the knee is in line with each other. Turning the chest up to face the ceiling. And then gently come back to the center. Bring that knee in and then sit back on your heels. Just observing your energy. So hopefully it releases lots of good energy into the blood. Breathing even, deep inhalations and exhalations. Okay, and then come up off your lift, just unfold the mat. And then we're going to go back up into dog down. If you're not doing dog down, you can do supta baddha. So come down onto your back, soles of the feet together, knees apart, feet as close to the seat bones as you can get them. Otherwise, have the hands shoulder width apart. Turn your toes under. Have your feet hip width apart. And then come up into dog down. So just keep the feet hip width apart, the hands shoulder width apart. Lift the seat bones. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then just gently come down onto your knees. Stay in supta baddha if you're in supta baddha. Otherwise, come down onto your shins. Just breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then just everyone come down onto your front. And just come onto your elbows. So we can do bhujangasana. sometimes known as the cobra. So just be on your elbows for a moment. Just look forwards. And at this stage, just observe that gentle bend in the spine. But if the pose is passive, then there's no real protection for the spine. So you need to activate your legs. So pick up one leg, lifting the thigh off the floor, and then lengthening that leg, placing it back down on the floor from the thigh to the knee to the shins to the toes. And then press the toes really firmly into the floor. Activate the thighs in that corkscrew action, turning the fronts of the thighs inwards so that you can really consciously feel the backs of the thighs broaden outwards, so that the heels start to separate. Keep the kneecaps tightened. So that action of the legs is really important. Stretch into the toenails. We're pointing the toes, which we don't normally do in this type of yoga, but that's what we're doing here. So press the tops of the feet into the floor. Really activate the legs like you're doing Tadasana. So the backs of the thighs should feel like they're broadened outwards. Then bring the hands underneath your shoulders. Keep those legs really firmly activated. Tuck the tailbone in gently and then push yourself up, keeping the elbows to the sides of the body, keeping the pelvis connected to the ground. Lift up into the chest. Either look forwards, or if there's no problem with looking up, draw your chin up to the ceiling. Keep the shoulders down. Keep the legs really firmly activated, turning the tailbone gently in, keeping the pelvis in connection with the floor. So you don't necessarily straighten your arms if you lose contact with the pelvis. Okay, and then gently come down, just rest your head on one side. Just have your arms at the sides of the body, rest yourself down into the floor. So I always think one of the lovely things about doing a back bend is that when you stop, it's lovely, isn't it? You can really relax into the floor. So bhujangasana, the cobra. It's a really good pose for realigning the spine if you've ever had the horrible situation of slipping a disc. A physio is likely to get you to do this pose. Okay, just bring the hands back to underneath your shoulders. Just lift your head off the floor, just have your head looking forwards, and then reactivate the legs. Reactivate the legs, so lengthening the toes as far away from the body as you can. Activate the thighs, tighten the kneecaps, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards so that the backs of the thighs turn outwards. Turn the tailbone in slightly and then push yourself up, keeping the pelvis down on the floor, keeping the elbows into the sides, keeping the shoulders down. And then if there's no problem with your neck or lifting your head, then drive the head up to the ceiling. Just breathe normally. In through the nose, out through the nose, keeping the pelvis down, tucking the tailbone in, keeping the legs really firmly activated. And then gently come down, rest your head on the other side, rest your arms to the sides of the body and just flop into the floor. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Okay, and then lift the head, come back onto your elbows, and then push yourself up into a seated position, Sit back on your heels, lift up into your chest, and then come forwards into Adho Mukha Virasana. So stretching into the arms, keeping the tailbone and the seat bones down on the heels, keeping the backs of the thighs or the lower buttocks down on the heels. Spreading the fingers, spreading the palms. Listen to the breath. And then just bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push yourself up into a seated position. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. Observe your energy. Just observe how you have woken up your energy. Just listen to the breath. And then just sit yourself in cross legs. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest. And then turn to the right side. As you turn, observe the seat bones. Does your right seat bone become heavier than the left? So draw the torso between the two hips so that there's even balance at the seat bones. Draw the abdomen across the ribs and the shoulders. And then come back to the center. Hold onto your knees, lift up into your chest, elevating the heart area upwards, and then turn to the left. Turn to the left, bring the hips level. And then gently come back to the center. Just get a bolster for your back, and we're just going to finish in I've got some cat hair all over this, need to clean that off. We're just going to finish in supta baddha. So I want you to have a folded blanket for your head, and then just come with the feet into the seat bones, and then just lift yourself along the bolster, and then feel that the chest is lifted and open. If your head feels like it's rolling back, then put more of a fold in your blanket. Otherwise, just let the front of the body open. Feel how the bolster consciously broadens and opens the chest. Broadens and opens the diaphragm region and the abdomen. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Focus on filling the lungs evenly and emptying them evenly. If there is stiffness in your hips, you can put blocks on the outsides of the thighs. Just raise your arms up to the ceiling, interlock the fingers right into the webbing of the hands, turn the palms all the way out, and then lengthen your arms along, away from your head, along the floor. So your hands will probably be floating in the air. If it's stiff in your shoulders, then put some blocks underneath your shoulder, underneath your hands, just to support your shoulders. Feeling the armpit chest open. Feeling the armpits broaden. Raise your arms up to the ceiling, swap the interlock of your fingers so the other index finger is on the top of the stack, and then turn the palms all the way out again, and then stretch your arms along the floor. So they won't touch the floor, but your shoulders will be typically supported by the blanket, but use extra support if you need it. Push the heels consciously together. Feel how the bolster helps you to really open up the hips and to broaden the chest. And then release your hands, just rest your hands along the floor. And then stay with the back supported by the bolster, but bring your knees together and then just stretch your legs along the floor. So you might have to adjust if it's a bit, if it's too kind of, if it's uncomfortable in your lumbar, then just sit yourself up and adjust. But just find your comfortable position. And then let the legs release. Let the legs relax. Let's have a quick look, make sure they're in a good straight line. If they're not, then just adjust slightly just to help you to relax. Let the body just release into the floor, into the bolster. Let the body become heavy. Unhooking the muscles of the arms and the legs. Just letting the body completely flop into the floor. To become heavy. Out of that heaviness, perhaps you recognize a radiant warmth emerging from the bones and radiating into the muscles. Into the muscles and the organs. That feeling of energetic lightness radiating from the bones and into the muscles and into the organs, the internal organs, and then the external organs, the flesh and the skin. Use your in-breath and your out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes, to the legs and into the toes, into the arms and the shoulders and into the fingertips and up into the top of the head. Basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And then when you're ready to disturb yourself, just wriggle your toes, wriggle your fingers, just bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. Push your elbows into the floor and then push yourself up into a seated position, just across legs. Just feeling your energy, feeling the body. Bring your hands into Namaste. So I'm just going to turn around so if I can see you. Bring your hands into Namaste and drive your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you released through your practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and forward bends, the twists and the back bends and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Be conscious of the energy that you have released through your practice this morning. A good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy around the heart area. And then send some of that positive energy out into the world. And then gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel really calm but full of good energy to put into your day. So thank you very much for joining me.